So I've been doing live music feedback streams on my TikTok for the past month, and here are 3 problem areas that artists are struggling with. The first one is poor vocal mixing. If you want to be an artist, the most important part of your track should be the vocal. This means that every other element of your track, whether the drums, synths, bass guitar, whatever, has to be taking a step back and making sure the vocalist has enough space. This also means that your vocal should be clean and polished. Random loud pops and clicks, mouth noises, breaths, anything that's not right to the ear is not going to turn the listener on. Every night we listen to around 50 tracks, and around 80% of them are always having some sort of vocal issue, whether it's the tuning, whether it's the cleanup, something is just wrong in the vocal that's making this song not shine. And for the most part, a lot of it is a really easy fix. If you have too much sibilance in your voice, put a de-esser on. You have too much reverb on the vocal, maybe record in a better space or use like a deverb plugin to reduce that down. Tuning is an issue. Melodyne, auto-tuning is really key to make sure you can lock that in. For the listener, right, for these tracks, a lot of times you're listening to them for the first time, they're not going to give you the benefit of the doubt. If they don't like the track and they find something wrong with it, they're going to skip it and move on to something else. So always important that the first impression you have for your music is a good one. The second thing that came up was sound selection. Whenever you listen to the song, the sounds in there should make some sort of sense. Having a super intense rock guitar with a very laid back, chill vocal might not be the best choice. Not saying you can't be experimental with your music and go for super left field or super right field things, but keep in mind that for the listener, if something is popping up that just doesn't really make sense with the rest of the track, it's going to deter them from listening further. This tends to be an issue for more beginner producers where they're kind of just throwing in different sounds that sound cool by themselves, but in context with the rest of the production and the rest of the sounds, sometimes might not make the most sense. So it's best to kind of limit yourself, figure out kind of what box your sounds fit in, maybe go a little bit outfield for some of the things, but try to keep everything as digestible as possible. The third and final thing that we heard on about half the tracks was the lack of progression. Think of every song that you listen to as a journey where there's a beginning and an end. Songs that tend to have long sections with no evolution get really boring very fast. So it's always important to make sure that each section is adding something. If it isn't, then it's got to go. Same thing with long verses and long pre's and long choruses, right? You should always make sure that the song is moving forward and not backward, right? Peaks and valleys are really important and a good visual for anyone that kind of works that way, where think of the valleys as the verses and the pre's, and the chorus is going to be the mountain, that big high part, but we're going to bring the energy back down for the verse, kind of bring back up for that chorus. So it's always important to kind of think like that. If there is a part of your track that's just really, really slow and boring, it might be worth cutting it out and just seeing if it flows better. Maybe rewriting part of the verses to kind of blend the parts together. If you're an artist and you want to get feedback on your song, you can check out our live streams on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We go live at 9 p.m. at PST. Make sure you're following, you'll get notified. Like and follow for more artist tips.